is John Yu Ta, Mr. John Yu Ta, the Chief Engineer of the Department of Highways, Ministry of Construction of Myanmar. Okay.
COVID-19 impact is, of course, almost all the countries impacted a lot because of that huge pandemic matter. And it is very significant on our construction sector also. Almost all the construction industries of our country nearly halt or suspended because of that impact. And so, of course, government need to make some stimulus packages and also the remedial action to recover that sector. And so in our country case, we have very data compilation is not so manageable in our country case. And however, almost all the developers complain to our ministry. And because of the COVID refrain or medical, not healthcare matters, they suspended their work site and job opportunities are losing in this sector. And so government initiated the social housing scheme to stimulate the market. And also on the other hand, because of the income level, and individual income level is also slow, a bit lesser and lesser because of the job loss in this, because of that effect. And so we start for the social housing, that is 5,000 units as a first phase. And it cost nearly $100 million. And within 2 years, that 5,000 units can be produced and implemented. And so because of that remedial action, it makes some good points for the developers and for the constructors, and then creates some job opportunities in this sector. I suppose most of the other countries, or in your country case also, you may have such kinds of remedial or recovery packages. If you have that one, also please share us. And in our country case, I said you that social housing, but it is not good enough to invite the foreign investor. But as a government project, the local contractors are encouraged to participate in. And so because of that housing projects, job opportunities and constructors opportunities are a bit recovered. And then after implementing that housing, we can distribute it. We can distribute that housing to some local low-income families affected by the COVID. And so it is kinds of stimulated package, not only for the developers or constructor, but also for the low-income families. And it is a good point for us to make such kinds of stimulus package. But its impact is a lot, or still on the some big developers, because the home buyers impact is also affected on that. And then the home buying demand from the home buyer side also slowing down. And so most of the developers struggling to make some changing design or layout plan for their projects to make people attract to buy more their products in terms of manageable size for the neighborhood style. And a big changes happen in our country this for the, especially for the real estate sector. Maybe Mr. Leung can discuss more for that matter, because people prefer to stay in low rise, manageable size of the neighborhood style instead of high rise and luxury style. This can be discussed by the Mr. Leung also. And then I would like to stop here, and then I would like to listen to the other comments also and the other experiences.
Thank you, thank you. Maybe the next one I would like to ask Mr. Leung from Hong Kong to express his view. William?
Distinguished panelists, speakers, I'm most privileged to attend this conference and in sharing experience with all of you and the also distinguished audiences. And today I would like to talk about share our experience about the effect of the COVID as a result of the to the construction contract itself, and the happening of COVID is rather unprecedented in human history, and it is unique in a way that there's nothing like this happening in the past history, and we can only draw analogous experience we had in the past history. And also because the time of the whole world being affected by the COVID has also stretched a rather long period of time. and we have already passed over 2 years since the occurrence of the pandemic, and seems that although we are now getting more used to the pandemic, still we are still hopefully we can see the end of the tunnel, but we haven't yet reached that point yet. So from the legal point of view, I'm a Hong Kong solicitor advocate, and having experience in acting for contractors and here in Hong Kong, and now drawing from my experience, the happening of this pandemic obviously affect the progress of the construction projects, and in a rather at first in a rather chaotic and rather unorderly manner and in the first place. And at first, people try to use the doctrine of frustration and force majeure events in dealing with the happening of the pandemic, but because this doctrine, these common law doctrines, they are rather undefined, and also they are subject to quite a bit of uncertainty, and there may be legal criteria, common law criteria for the doctrine of frustration in meeting the three requirements of unavoidability, unpredictability, and insurmountable, and unforeseeable. All these are rather abstract legal concepts, criteria, depending on fact, very fact sensitive, and when dealing with the contract itself, the engineers and the person in charge of the construction projects and an employer, when they face with this pandemic, and initially they even with the assistance of the lawyers, they may feel very a lot of uncertainties, and my advice is that now we are nearly over 2 years past the pandemic, and we have got experiences in terms of dealing with the uncertainties, and the best way is for us to deal with the uncertainties head on by way of continuous negotiation with the subcontractors and with the workers, and in handling all these uncertainties, and rather than leaving the uncertainties to be dealt with by legal by the lawyers, by legal means, because lawyers in dealing with these matters by legal means usually will stretch a rather long period of time, and also the legal expenses are usually quite high. And so in terms of an economy of dealing with this dispute, if it has arisen, is the best way is actually for the stakeholders concerned to deal with it in the using the ADR method. ADR method in terms of solving it by way of either by adjudicators and by a neutral person, by all these alternative dispute resolution means in the preventing these disputes to become widened in terms of interest and also magnitude of the damages and differences. So the limitation, the management of the the differences and disputes, I think is very important. And also another issue that I would like to raise is by the provision of more precise clauses in the contract itself, in the construction contract. Maybe in the past, the construction contract may not be able to deal with specifically the pandemic uncertainties which arise with it, including the supply chain delays, and also in terms of supply of construction materials, in terms of workforce, manpower, and from time to time, maybe government intervention in terms of for the protection of the public health. The government may enact the various legislations and regulations, and from time to time hindering the progress of the construction operations, and may even terminate its operations. So in terms of we have to bring the stakeholders together and get them to face with these problems together, and so that it's not just one party to think of how to tackle it. And in terms of either for the extension of time or the variation of costs, in terms of adjustment of costs, and also when the adjustments of the with all these adjustments mechanisms to be built into the contract itself. I think specifically in catering for this pandemic, I think this will enable the dispute to be to be contained and to be limited in terms of range, in terms of scope. I think that is my generally my observations. I hope to my other panelists may also share their experience with all of us.
Yeah, thank you, William. I think it's yeah, definitely legal means probably is the last resort to solve this kind of problem. Maybe we ask Mr. John Htut to comment on comments on this topic.
Extension of time about that, maybe
Mr. John Htut.
As you all know, the COVID-19 impacted the construction industry. The road construction and maintenance. I am from the Ministry of Construction, for the Department of Highway. So I will just talk a little about the road construction industry, how the COVID-19 impact. But in our country, during the COVID-19, due to the restriction, due to the travel restriction, and due to the social distancing countermeasure, our road construction industry are also impacted by the COVID-19, but not very largely hit like the other sector, like the tourism and MSME, but it is the impacted, Although as much as I know, the construction road construction activities are impacted, but in our country we have some project that funded by the foreign countries, but the activities are ongoing not stop, but moving slowly, moving slowly. But in this moment, currently, the COVID-19 cases are declined, and all the construction activity resumed. So the investor, the investor can do, the investor can make investment in our country in this moment. As we all have listened that in the previous presentation, the director from the DICA mentioned broadly about the investment procedure to undergo investment in our country. So in this the moment, our government, the government of Myanmar also is striving to invite the investment domestically and from abroad to address the crisis impacted by the COVID-19. And the State Administration Council is considering to accommodate the investor with best possible services to enable the investor-friendly investment. So the Ministry of Investment and Foreign Relations Department is now making the draft for the recovery plan for the construction industry. There are some objectives that to heal the badly hit economies impacted by COVID-19 with all possible means, and to welcome and invite the investment to facilitate the existing investment and businesses, and to protect the investment by law, to create workable and enabling environments for the business for social economic development of the country. The plan, recovery plan, is still in the draft position, but not adopted yet. But at the same time, we are following the same recovery plan from the ASEAN. We have the ASEAN Comprehensive, recovery plan, and also GMS response and recovery plan 2021 to 2023. So the the investor can do the investment in our country. And for the road sector, we have some project priorities. We have some mature projects and projects listed in the project bank, and project listed in the ASEAN pipelines, and project listed in the GMS economic corridors. And also we have the connection with the Chinese government, China, that we have the some the China-Myanmar economic corridor that is about 1,700 kilometer. And other CMEC, China-Myanmar economic corridor, we have the early harvest project and CMEC. So these are Muse, Tijai, Manali, and Nebiro, Chaopyu. So these projects are also, the feasibility study already conducted, by the Chinese company. So it means that we have some projects that is ready to draw the interest of the investor. And also the government have some strategy of the SMART program, the streamlining and simplifying the procedure, maximizing online services and minimizing barriers to business, assuring aftercare services, reducing regulatory burden, and transparency and enhancement. Although we have some risks in doing business in Myanmar, some investors have identifying the opportunity to invest or expand in this, even in this moment. If the investor has the ability to move quickly in making opportunistic investment and provide a real advantage to those who are active. And I am sure and can recommend and suggest investors who are able to seize the opportunity in this moment, and the investor who will solve the problems and issue in this situation, will have the opportunity and maybe rewarded in the longer term. So, but this should be done with the eyes open and benefit of looking inside and support. So these are some, or the suggestions and the comments about the investment in Myanmar. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Maybe I ask invite another panelist from Hong Kong, Dr. Jay, who had made a presentation earlier. What is your comment, Dr. Jay?
Just some views to talking about the COVID. Of course, this is a big problem over the past few years. So there as a term of we call the BI, become a very popular term, the business interaction. So the most different kind of business being interaction, corporate, individually, even between the country. But on my view, actually, each case are quite unique. So it is it's a quite difficult to talk this in general, because when a company or a country or individual make a different difficulty from the COVID being disrupt from the COVID, maybe the case is quite unique, is quite. But in general, I would suggest the company, especially no country at the company level, the ways to deal with the COVID interaction, to deal with the business interaction caused from the COVID, would be actively to try to negotiate the deal, right? I think because the COVID is not unpredictable, so the people would more understandable, on that. And then so negotiate is important. And then second, I would see the restructuring. A lot of company project, when they make difficult, they try to restructure in anything, with with the contract, negotiate, review the contract and negotiate restructuring. And of course, to strengthen the risk management is also matter. We need to have more buffers, less leverage, because I'm an economic. From the view of economic, I think the world is still far from certain. It would be still the business environment would be still quite unpredictable and uncertainty in the future. So to reduce the leverage is necessary. And then I think to seek in government support, this is also a way for the corporate to overcome the difficult. I would say we are in Hong Kong. The Hong Kong as a government play a quite important role. They are doing a very good job to help the company sector individual to overcome the problems causing from the pandemic. But of course, I think Hong Kong's case may not necessarily being applied to other countries, because Hong Kong has a very sound financial situation, has a huge financial surplus, so they have right, so they can do a lot of things financially or to help the company. And then the coordination is also important. Yeah, I think government sometimes can also play the role for the coordination. Yeah, and then I think that another is that we see the technology application. Yeah, is also important. Yeah, because so the COVID actually has to speed up the country or company to provide the technology to replace the I think the menu, replace the operation by the mankind. So this is also and then I think the over the past few years, there are, such as I mentioned, the disruption. Yeah, a lot of flows been disruption, but on my view, they are such as the people's flow. Yeah, is the most serious, because a lot of traffic, such as we Hong Kong has the fine suspend. Yeah, this is a really unwelcome. Yeah, unwelcome by business sector. But unfortunately, I think I quite appreciate the Hong Kong government quite smart now to suspend this. I think this air flight suspension. Yeah, so business is welcome. Yeah, it's so I think the people's flow. Yeah, is a most serious area been disruption, and the material flow also been disruption. But there still has a two area actually not being affected too much, such as the capital flow. Yeah, the fund flow, because it is I think it's still okay. It's it would not. I can't see it would be disrupted by the COVID, because the fund transaction, capital transaction, long far has been doing by the computer, by the internet, by the network. So this is okay, and the information flow is also fine. Yeah, so there's not anything is a negative. Yeah, I think the capital flow, yeah, fund flow and information flow, yeah, it's still fine. It's still normal. Yeah, so maybe how the enterprise, it may be the direction, yeah, for the especially our construction sectors to think about it. Yeah, how to use more, especially the information flow. Yeah, to help yeah, their business operate. So yeah, this is some some observation. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Jay. Maybe I ask the final Mr. Jay to give us his comments on this topic.
Thank you very much for inviting MCEF to sharing some of the experience knowledge here. Yes, we MCEF are the private sector, and we work together very closely with the Ministry of Construction and other association, brother and sister association, of course. Yes, we have 15 branch chapters around the country, and we work together for all of the construction works. In this pandemic duration, we concentrate for some of the CSR program. For example, we donate vitamin D, vitamin C's to our workers, engineers, all of the site, some of the ministry staff, and so on. Yeah, and then we promote our OSH program, occupational safety and health, to all of our construction sites, together with the ILO. ILO support us to promote the OSH program and training to our engineers and site supervisor to encourage our workers. Especially our chairman lead for all of the CSR program. Of course, our MCEF, we all plan to build some of the infrastructure work. For example, ARD development project like SEZ, the West, something like that. That's our own proposal, which I mentioned in last May. Yeah. According to my seniors and all of the authorities, speakers, of course, we work closely together with them. Of course, this COVID pandemic impact to our construction sites. Still, we are encouraging and caring our workers and our site, because most of our sites are building construction. That's why we have inner space. We are using inner space too. That's why we control for social distancing works in our construction site. We follow all of the local authority rules and regulation, and we keeping in touch with monthly meeting, weekly meeting with the local construction industry too. Actually, our country and our people all are well known and awareness for COVID-19. Actually, our country so far, we are facing not only for the COVID pandemic, and we have facing many challenging situations in Myanmar so far. That's why our construction industry need many foreign investment. Yeah, I especially request to Hong Kong and Chinese for many investment in our country. I would like to invite all of you to invest in Myanmar, and we Myanmar can cooperate together with the foreign fund. Especially our own project, we need foreign investor and foreign developer to work together with our MCEF. Most of the MCEF members are construction, of course, but others are traders, training companies, workers, provider company, and so on. That's why MCEF can cooperate all of the investor for Myanmar, for all of the construction, of course, all of the infrastructure. We stay and working closely with the Ministry of Construction for housing project, of course, infrastructure project too. Actually, I'm also one of the contractor under the Ministry of Construction for housing and road construction too. That's why we can cooperate for all of the investor, and we can negotiate and we can improve business in Myanmar. Actually, some of the Chinese investor working together with our members too. Actually, our chairman, MCF chairman, he worked closely with one of the Chinese investment in Yangon for housing project. Of course, Mandalay, Ayeyarwady, Delaware, and so on. Now, government arranged and to vaccinate all of the Myanmars. Most of our workers, our construction industry got vaccination too. That's why now we all are hoping to improve our business together with our people, our government, our local authorities, and of course, together with foreign investment. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think definitely this COVID-19 really affecting everybody in the world, the investor, the contractor, the companies, and also the workers and also the people.
I really think that, now it's almost over. Obviously, we still have problem now, but basically it's toward the end of this pandemic, I think. So I agree with you that, we should, all parties should sit together and negotiate and coordinate, and we work hand in hand again, there should be oh, you want to talk? Okay, yes. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to support Mr. William's suggestion, especially because of the disputes and negotiation. We have to reopen for almost all the contracts we enter with the private sector. What he pointed out for the COVID is really good. It is a rather long period. It is really good point, because unlike the other force majeure events, this is quite long. And so as a Ministry of Construction, what we did for the private sector, it is including for the foreign investment also, is that the ministry, MIC make an announcement that the COVID period, within the COVID period for nearly 2 years period, they said that the announcement mentioned that it is the COVID period, and so most of the construction periods need to delay for 2 years. That announcement really support for our Ministry of Construction, and we can make some adjustment for the construction period and make the adjustment for the payment also. It is really good point. And as a mutual person, in our country case, MIC serve as a mutual person, and then they make that announcement is really helpful for our ministry, and we can make such kinds of adjustments. And so thanks for your, Mr. William, thanks for your suggestion. And what we did is I just shared the knowledge for you. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, I think thanks for
your additional information. I think that's very important, because I received a question that, for some cases, some projects facing termination and suspension to their projects. Yes. It happened, but probably not in your country, in some other countries. And then obviously for investor and also for the contractor, it's really a big problem. So so the question was, if that happens, what is your suggestion? What they can do?
Renegotiate. Renegotiate.
Okay, usually we negotiate, in such a case, because we have some project funded by the JICA and funded from the ADB. So the activities, the construction activity are suspended. Some payments are not settled in this moment. So we just are both parties negotiate by each other. But also we have some legal environment in case of arbitration, because in 2016 the government enacted the arbitration law. So the domestically the same dispute can be resolved. If it is not settled, in some contract in PPP project, the contract specify the Singapore as the seat of arbitration. So there will be usually arbitration clause in the PPP contract, which state that the parties agree to refer and resolve the disputes by arbitration conducted according to the rules of the Singapore International Center. But the arbitration in Myanmar is currently very rare. Based on the mutual negotiation and discussion, we solve the problems. So So anyway, we invite the business from the companies from the Hong Kong to invest in the road sector in Myanmar. So we have some projects have a readiness for the investment. Only we just welcome.
Good, good. Thank you. Any more
Seems to
comments?
me that
Yes, okay.
I'm responding to Ms. Fida's kind comment. I think it's encouraging to hear that the Myanmar government officials, high-level officials, has got the this high-level vision of actually to face this problem as such global with such a global vision, and not just to leave the parties concerned simply at the contractual level, but also at a global governmental level. I think it is important that the government is prepared, the officials to prepare to play that leading role, and so that the stakeholders concerned of the project will more likely, because of the government's lead in assisting the stakeholders to get the matters to be resolved, rather than to choose lengthy and costly legal means to resolve the problem. And so I think, and also I've heard just now Mr. Htut this comment that arbitration is rather rare in Myanmar, and I suppose it is more a matter of a culture in Myanmar. I suppose you are less litigious and more on the settlement on a more negotiation level, and so you get the problem cured at a more preliminary level, and rather than to let the problem to accumulate to a much more lengthy in terms of time and also the extent. So I think it's very, very encouraging just to listen to what you have said just now. That's my comment.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your support. So, anything else?
Any more response?
Any more?
Maybe I see whether we have any more. Oh, there's one question.
Thank you very much, all members of the panel. I think we are enjoying the discussion we've had just now. What I'm going to say is that after more than 2 years pandemic, we are all suffering from this for some time. And this 2.5 years is quite a long time. Now, I think that we are all talking about the whole thing in hindsight. I should think that from now, we should look ahead. Means that we have to rely on not just the normal conventional methods. We have to look to more innovation and technology. For instance, now construction sites are more or less, we can say, labor intensive. We rely a lot on people working on site together. Whether they're working together on the site itself or in the changing rooms, they can actually spread the virus very rapidly. Of course, we didn't expect the virus to be so strong and so easily spreading. And I think that, for instance, we have to really look to more mechanized methods, more automation, such as MIC. A lot of things, a lot of the units are actually manufactured in factories, avoiding or reducing the human being contacts, direct contacts. We should look to AI, artificial intelligence, more in the future. Means that we can just not relying on the human actions, human activities, but rely on AIs, and also reduce the amount of meeting together, reducing the human contacts at meetings. What I'm talking about is now we should now look to metaverse. Metaverse means that it's a new kind of meeting. At the meeting, you see real people, and also you see virtual images. Things like this, I'm just talking about from now we should, after this so serious effect of COVID-19, we should look to the future, kind of advancement to avoid any disaster. We cannot say in the future we will not have another COVID-19. Maybe the next one is even worse. So we should be prepared for ourselves for anything like this. Of course, Mr. William Leung is quite right. I mean, anything that have happened, we should look to more mutual understanding between the government and the people, and the common people, including those on site, contractors, consultants, etc. Of course, the governments should look to the reserves, use more reserves to help the industry. Different industries, the same. They should, because of these things not expected by anybody, should rely on the government to make a start to assist them in the first place. But after the initial assistance from the government, the industries, various industries, should really be prepared for anything, for another serious pandemic. Hopefully, it will never happen, but you never know. After that serious one 100 years ago, we never would expect another serious one like Black Death, like that one in Spain. So I think that from now, I would strongly suggest, we should look to innovation and technology more to save lives and to prepare ourselves for the next pandemic if it did happen. This is my comment. Thank you.
There is a comment from Dr. Raymond Ho, is the chairman of the Dashun Foundation. I think his suggestion is very good. And we are controlling our time very well. Thank you for all the contribution from our panelists. And I really think that, all of us, the whole world have been affected by the COVID-19 in the past 2.5 years. And, but probably we are approaching to the end of the tunnel. I really think that it will be over very soon. I also agree with our panelists that, we should, if we have problem, we should negotiate, discuss, understand each other, and have some mutual agreement, and go ahead again. And also, there's a lot of opportunity in front of us. And then I also encourage our investors, our companies, and all the people look forward to more opportunities in the future. And then we also, because of this COVID-19, I haven't been able to visit Myanmar for a long time. I really hope to visit you in the near future. And thank you again. And then thank you for everybody and all the audience. And now we just very sharp 5:30, and then we end this discussion. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See you. Yeah, Dr. Roy, thank you.